Welcome back to this Crossroads course. My name is Kyle, and I will be facilitating this lesson on God's plan for the Christian. God has a plan for every believer's life, but that plan is not disconnected from His overall plan for creation. First, He created the world for His pleasure and enjoyment. Then He created us as part of that world to contribute to His plan for the world. The reason many Christians struggle for their whole lives to find God's particular plan for their lives is that they fail to recognize that God is first and foremost concerned with the big picture, the world and the church, and only secondarily with the individual Christian. As a result, they search for God's plan as if it were unrelated to the church and the world. If you hope to discover God's plan for your life, you must make three fundamental assumptions. God has a plan for the world and the church. God has a plan for the individual believer. God's plan for the individual believer is connected to His plan for the world and the church. The third assumption is where we tend to have a blind spot. God's plan for our individual lives concerns how we can contribute towards His plan for the world and the church. That is why we devote the first two sections of this course to studying God's big plan before turning to His personal plan. In this lesson, you are going to learn how to go about discovering God's plan for your life. You will also learn how to write a personal mission statement. Lesson outline: working out your role in God's plan. Writing down your role in God's plan. Working it out. First, let me state emphatically that there is no simple, quick formula for discovering God's plan for your life. The approach I am going to describe requires much soul-searching in meditation and prayer in order to discover how you can contribute towards God's plan for creation. 4 questions require prayer and meditation. What is the plan of God? The underlying assumption here is that God has a single plan for all creation. His plan for every individual is directly connected to His plan for the whole earth. Each person is to contribute a small part to the one great plan. Therefore, the question for your personal mission must begin with a thorough understanding of the mission of God. The multifaceted plan of God provides a framework for understanding each person's individual mission contribution. What are my unique qualities? A thorough understanding of the plan of God must be accompanied by a thorough understanding of yourself. This enables you to identify the ways in which you can meaningfully contribute to the plan of God. This self-examination should include the following aspects. What are my spiritual gifts and special skills? What are my controlling beliefs and values? What can I contribute? The third step is to identify ways in which you can use your unique qualities to contribute to the plan of God. You can do this by examining the interrelation between the mission of God and your personal qualities. What steps must I take to make this happen? The third step focuses on what you are going to do. This step makes it concrete by examining where, when, and how you are going to do it. Once you have some idea of the contribution you can make, you must develop an action plan. That is, you must begin to work out how that contribution can become reality. Writing it down. You should write out your personal mission statement. Writing it down helps you to make it concrete and gives you something you can go back to when necessary. The written version will not be the end of the matter. As you grow in God, your understanding of His calling on your life will change. As that happens, you should revise your mission statement. God's plan. Briefly summarize the plan of God for the world and the church as best you understand it. Your gifts and skills. Compile a list of things you are good at, your spiritual gifts and special skills. The list should include the talents God has given you that you would like to use to His glory. Your values and beliefs. Compile a list of ideas and practices you feel strongly about, your core values and beliefs that you are determined to promote and will not compromise. This list should not be a complete list of biblical truths, but a list of those truths that you are most passionate about, the ones you are devoted to applying. Your contribution. Now ask yourself how you can use your skills and your passions to advance the purpose of God. Summarize what you believe your main contribution will be in one paragraph. Then write down the specific tasks you will need to do to accomplish this. Your action plan. Finally, devise an action plan with short and long-term goals to begin working towards the fulfillment of your personal mission. Ask yourself these questions. What must I start working on immediately? Where do I see myself over the next few years? Where do I see myself several years down the road? Summary. God's plan for your life is part of His overall plan. You are created and called by God to make a small contribution to His great mission. To identify His call upon your life, you need to understand His overall plan and figure out how you can best contribute, taking into account your gifts and talents.